Aloha guys, Joe Tenney visiting my friends here at Kona Nissan on the beautiful big island of Hawaii. And today we're reviewing the 2017 Nissan Titan XD Cummins diesel. And we're going to learn a lot about Cummins diesel and a great many other things. This is kind of an all-star team of amazing pieces and bits throughout the entire truck. It's kind of the answer to the question, if I could build any half-ton truck in the world and make it the most amazing thing of all time, how would I build it? Well, I'm certain that Nissan asked themselves that very question, and we'll tell you exactly what their answer was. But we're going to start by popping the hood. Diesel engines came out in 1899. Rudolf Diesel, he patented the compression ignition engine in 1899. It wasn't until later, 1919, that a mechanic in the Hoosier state of Indiana, Clessie Cummins, realized that there were a great many unused opportunities for diesel engines. By the 1950s, Cummins accounted for over half of all diesel engines in the world. Today, it's a $20 billion a year juggernaut. The thing that people like about Cummins diesel engines, they're not stressed out versions of small engines. They're actually very small scale industrial engines. The newest engine from Cummins this year isn't a 5-liter V8, it's a 120-liter V20 that has a 5,000 horsepower. When we talk about reliability in cars, 100,000 miles, when we talk about heavy industrial equipment, 10,000 hours, 50,000 hours, that engine doesn't get its first overhaul till it goes through 1.7 million gallons of gas. And so you're taking an enormous industrial engine and then downsizing it for a pickup truck application. And so that's why people like Cummins so much, because they are really built to last forever, and so they're extremely powerful. This one's 310 horsepower, 555 foot-pounds of torque. Let's take a look inside. So one of the realities with diesel trucks happened in January 1st, 2007. The EPA passed a new rule where diesel trucks had to meet stringent exhaust standards. And so you can remember seeing soot coming out of the back of a diesel truck for a million years. Old trucks do it to this very day. It's just they changed the law that allowed for 500 parts per million of sulfur in diesel fuel. And as of January 1st, 2007, it went all the way down to 15 parts per million. And so engines had to run very differently, and the era of the clean diesel, quote unquote, came in on that very day, January 1st, 2007. How the principle of it work essentially is that the exhaust runs extraordinarily hot, like 1,000+ degrees, 1,100 to 1,200 degrees, and so it doesn't generate all that soot. Well, that's easy to do when you're towing a heavy load, but not easy to do when you're just farting around town, to be honest with you. So a lot of the complaints of modern diesel lack of longevity comes from that soot that builds up because the truck's not running hot enough. So you have trucks in this modern world that have spectacular amounts of towing capacity. However, if you're not towing all the time, there is a genuine concern that it's just simply not running hot enough to clear out all that soot. And we'll tell you a little bit about how Nissan handled that. Let's take a look in the back seat too. This is a daily driving pickup truck as well. It tows 12,000 pounds, 11,890 pounds. One of the beautiful things about a diesel engine, space, tons of space in the front, tons of space in the back. This is a Pro-4X, and so the Pro-4X sits a little bit taller than its non-Pro-4X counterparts, but it's very spacious, very comfortable, very cool interior. It's actually a really cool truck. Taking a look in back, so all of these Titans are going to be set up to trailer tow, especially with diesels, and so because that's their claim to fame, is that most half tons don't even tow 10,000 pounds, where this one does almost 12,000 pounds, 11,890 pounds, with 1,189 pounds on the tongue weight. If we get lower, we can see those yellow bilstein shocks, and so that's part of the Pro-4X package. It has a more durable off-road suspension as well as a taller ride height. One of the other things that it has is an Aisin transmission, and so although it specs out as a Nissan N466, it's actually an Aisin AS69RC, and that's a big deal because that's the very same transmission that is in the Dodge 1-ton. So if you get the 68 version of that transmission, that's in the Dodge 3/4-ton, which can tow up to 18,000 pounds. The 69 is designed to tow up to 30,000 pounds. So you have an industrial grade engine matched to a 30,000 pound towing capability transmission. It's no wonder that they can warranty the truck for 5 years, 100,000 miles, bumper to bumper. Taking a look around the other side, one of the other particularly strong components is that they use American axle rear axles. Well, that's the same axle that's in the NV3500 commercial vehicle for Nissan. And so the NV3500, it's rated at 6,000 pounds. And so the axle here shows a rating of 4,900 pounds. However, it's the very same axle. American axle, by the way, actually rates it higher than 6,000 pounds. So every single thing about this truck is incredibly heavy duty. Let's jump inside. So that problem with soot and exhaust not running hot enough. What Nissan did is they contacted Holset, excuse me, and Holset designed a unique twin turbo for this car. It's a sequential twin turbo that's got what amounts to a rotating valve. It's got a small high compression turbo for low speeds, which is nice because instant acceleration is powerful, but it runs super hot. So even if you're not carrying anything at all, you're just using this as a truck to commute to work or go to Costco or do whatever it is that you're doing, that small turbo is kicking in all the time and it runs red hot through the exhaust. So it blows out all that soot, so you don't have to worry about that. Then it comes on later, the bigger turbo, and there's an actual rotating valve that essentially turns off the power that comes from the small turbo and turns on the power that comes from the great big turbo that gives it that broad power band that you need for heavy duty pulling and hauling and that sort of thing. And so that's why this truck is designed for a very, very long life, and it gives it a huge advantage over other turbo applications on the market. Cummins is the single best engine that there is in the world. Again, it's built for industrial applications and it's built to stand the test of time, and I mean decades, not just 100,000 miles, but hundreds, plural, of thousands of miles. The turbo is the most exciting change to diesel engines since the Emissions Act of 2007, so that's a big deal. The transmission, it's a 30,000 pound rating towing transmission. So that Aisin transmission, or Aisin Seiki, they're a company from Japan, big giant industrial company, been around since 1949. That's about as good a transmission as you're gonna get. Those American axles are about the very best axles that you're gonna get. This is a truck, if you said, listen, I'm just gonna build it from scratch, the very best 1500 series or half-ton type of pickup truck in the whole wide world, how would I build it? I'd use the best parts from around the world. I wouldn't spend all the money doing research and development, hoping I built something that worked out. I go right to the top and buy the absolute best that money can buy. So it's weird to me when I read the reviews for this truck that it's like, well, the steering is a little bit weird, or it's got kind of a firm suspension. Well, of course it's got a firm suspension. It's got a bilstein suspension that's designed to go off-road. Well, the engine doesn't have as much power as other 3/4 ton trucks. Well, of course not. It's not a 3/4 ton truck. It's a half-ton truck. It's a truck for somebody who's going to do a lot of big pulling, got a real big boat, got a real big fifth wheel, that sort of thing. But you also need to drive it, and you want it to last forever and a day. Everything about this truck is the very best on the marketplace. This isn't just a really cool truck. It's the single best half-ton pickup truck in the world. And I know when I say that a lot of people are really sensitive. You know, the Ford EcoBoost has an amazing engine. It does. Dodge Hemis are really cool. They are. Toyota pickup trucks are spectacular. That's true. I agree with all that. However, if one of them has to be the absolute best, it's this brand new Nissan Titan. If you have any questions about this truck, anything in the Nissan product line or anything at all, you know where you can reach me. My name's Joe Tunney, and you can reach me at joeloveshawaii@gmail.com.